Wouldn't even wish you'd understand. I just wish that God had a better plan. I'm so confused. I need a redo. Inside of me that's begging and begging and pleading. I just wanna feel free. I just wanna feel lovely. I'm surrounded by love that's in pain. Can I wipe your tears away? Please don't hurt for me. I hate that it's for me. It's for me.
Hi, welcome to the MS Michigan Man 64 podcast. Thank you to Amber K for that amazing introduction into the show. Amber K is warrior number 2. She is a singer-songwriter that wrote I Hate That It's For Me. Please check out her episode. Me and Amber have teamed up just to try to help people understand what it's like living with a chronic disease and how you have to keep on fighting the fight every day. My name is Brian. I am the MS Michigan Man 64. Before I got diagnosed 28 years ago, I was playing football at the University of Michigan, and I went from living that lifestyle to 4 years after that, being diagnosed with MS, and I talk about my journey as well as the journey of other chronic disease warriors around the world, just to try to help people understand what it's like, how it affects your mental health, how it affects your family, how it affects your career. Today, I am talking to an MSer from over in the UK. I met Jen a couple weeks ago on TikTok. She wanted to come on and talk about her journey with her MS. She got diagnosed in 2016, and she was only 30 years old. Please welcome to the podcast, Jen. How are you doing today, Jen?
I'm all right, thank you. I'm having a good day today. Are you okay, Brian?
I'm doing okay. So, Jen, I know in 2016 you got told that you had MS. What led up to that diagnosis? What kind of symptoms were you having? What was going on in your life back in 2016 when you found out that you had multiple sclerosis?
Family life was where I was at the time, working in family life. And at first, I lost the sight in my left eye. That was prior to the diagnosis, though, because you need 2 debilitating events to actually get the diagnosis. So it was the sight first, and that was like 3 days before my 30th birthday. And after that, I started getting a lot of sensations, like in my fingers and my legs and hands and like my eyes. And 12 weeks later, I lost the use of my right side. So obviously that held me back from everything.
Yeah.
I just felt like my whole world had been swiped away. But yeah, it was the loss of the right side that I could then get the diagnosis of the MS.
Were you going to doctors and like telling them, "Hey, doc, I got this going on," and were they running tests on you? And what were they telling you before you found out that you had MS?
It was when I'd lost the sight in my left eye. I went to the opticians, and I didn't really feel like that concerned. I just thought, oh, no, I just thought it'd be a passing thing. And
Yeah.
it was the opticians that then sent me up to the eye clinic in the hospital. And it was after seeing a neurologist then, where they said that I had a brain scan and saw the neurologist. And although they were really sure that it was MS, they couldn't give the diagnosis until sort of something else major had happened.
Yeah.
Which that's when the 12 weeks later, I lost the use of my right side. So then that's when I could get the diagnosis. So I lost the sight in my eye in March.
Mm-hmm.
And it did come back, which that's the thing with MS. Like you can lose the use of something and then get it back, but then lose it again or get it back or then never get it back. You never know.
Right.
Um, and then it was the August that I'd lost the use of my right side and then got the diagnosis.
So
And
when they told you that you had MS, I know I was 27, so I was a few years younger than you, but when they told me, "Hey Brian, you got MS," I kind of sat there and went, "Okay, what is that?" I had no idea what multiple sclerosis was. What was your understanding at 30 years old? You got vision problems, you got your side of your body going numb, and now they're telling you have MS. Did you understand what you were being told?
I don't think I really did at the time because I kind of just saw all the world that I'd built up around me gone. So I kind of couldn't really concentrate or like accepting it was really hard. And obviously I had the children as well. So like I was devastated that I couldn't then be the same mum that I was and that I had been. And um, yeah, it was really difficult. I mean, I've got an MS nurse and neurologist who, check in and stuff. But even with the medical help and other help that I had to kind of help with the mental implications of it, I still felt very much alone.
Yeah. I know I felt
And
the same way, Jen, when went through that diagnosis. And I say this all the time. I don't think it is addressed enough at the diagnosis, but the mental part is you're getting told that you have a chronic disease, multiple sclerosis. And, I know over here in the United States, most of the people that I talk to, they get told they have MS. They're given a couple pieces of paper. They're told to come back in a month. They'll start you on a DMT, and that's it. It's never really addressed the mental part of it. You're getting told that you have something that's never going to go away, and they don't address that mental part. And it sounds like that they didn't do that with you either. They just kind of said, you got MS, here you go. You got to figure it out on your own.
at my March appointment, when he said he couldn't diagnose me because of the needing that extra next event, and I was like, well, so what do I do? And he was like, oh, just get on with your life.
Yeah,
And I was
like
like
it,
there thinking, like,
like it's that simple,
how?
Yeah, like it's that simple, right?
So yeah, I mean, I do think that I think when someone's been given such a diagnosis, I think the mental health implications um, do need to be addressed a bit more. Because even if you don't feel that it's a problem at that time, because I kind of tried to ignore it as well. I've tried to refuse using sticks. I've tried to refuse using a chair, and I still overdo it some days because I want to still do life and do things.
Right.
Um,
We don't want to lose our independence or anything like that. Yeah, we just keep on fighting it, but it's affecting our mental health. And, that's why I say all the time, when you get that diagnosis, don't do the mistake that I made. I didn't address my mental health back in 1997. I was young, I was stupid. But I tell people all the time, it was a mistake that I made. I wish I would have. As soon as you get that diagnosis, if it's a counselor or if it's a psychologist, if you need medication, I mean the mental part of this is harder than the physical part, in my opinion. After 28 years of this,
yeah, it has been a struggle, and I have had different different help with the mental health sort of over the years. When it got to a certain point, I don't know if I'd have seen someone sooner, whether it would have prevented me getting into the state that I was in at my worst point. I don't know. We never know really.
yeah,
But I've got a handle on it now for
yeah,
the mental health and emotional health.
yeah.
Uh, I just wish I could still run.
Yeah, me too. That's the one thing out of all the things that I miss the most with my MS, it's running. I was I played football at the University of Michigan, and even after that, I ran in a triathlon. I miss running. But I still look at the fact at all the things that I did do, when I was able to do it, and MS is never going to be able to take that away. I still have the memories of it. But I totally understand though. I mean, you miss things because it takes your identity away a lot of times, after that diagnosis. You lose the ability to do things that were like a regular thing for you on a daily basis.
Yeah, that's it. It's like, like when I say like you've got your life and you've built your life, and like I had in my mind like where life was going, and MS kind of changed all that for me, and it's accepting that as well, that like I didn't have a choice anymore, feeling controlled by something other than myself.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a heavy time.
All right. So what kind of DMTs did they end up putting you on after your diagnosis?
I've been on a couple. Can't remember what the names of them all. Maybe should have found a list out before I did the call. But I've had a couple of oral ones, which have helped. But then after so long, I had side effects with my stomach.
Okay.
So then I had Octavirus.
Ocrevus. Okay.
Um, Octavus, that one, where you go into the hospital and they put it into intravenous.
Yes. Yes.
So I tried that one a couple of times, but it's for me the hospital visit is somewhat stressful.
Yeah.
Uh, so now I use Kesimpta.
Oh, okay. How are you doing with
That one,
how are you doing with that one?
I love that one. At first it was when I taken it, so I use it's like an injection, and I put it into my leg myself
Mm-hmm.
once a month. But when I first started using it, um, like I would lose my balance for a few days afterwards. But that's calmed down now, and I've managed to be able to do more of like just your normal day to day things, like getting a shower and washing my hair, and um, maybe been able to walk a few more steps than I could before it. Yeah, it has made massive changes, and I don't have to put it into my stomach because I had a lot of problems because of medications in my stomach.
Yeah. I know just from talking to people all over the world and just the different DMTs they use. I mean, that's a journey in itself a lot. I've been on about 6 or 7 DMTs. Some of them I did well on, some of them I failed on, and they had to try different ones. And I know that a lot of people have stomach problems with their DMTs. They can't handle them, and just to try to find one that your body agrees with and it helps you, it can be a journey in itself. Like I said, I've been on five or
Oh, it
six of them,
is.
and I know
Because you
people.
have to try them and then see about the side effects, don't you? And you've had 5 or 6. That's quite a few.
Yeah, I mean, 5 or 6 in 28 years. I mean, I consider that not that bad. I mean, I know people that have done 8 or 9 and they've only had MS 10 years. So, I,
Oh, really?
yeah, yeah. So I mean, it's just, but you can't. You got to figure it out, and you got to advocate for yourself too. If you're on one and you feel like shit, you got to go to your neuro and say, "Hey, doc, I can't handle this." I've
Yeah, it's
done
not.
I've done that, and you got to get a doctor that listens to you. How's your doctor? How's your medical team over in the UK? Are you happy with them?
Well, it's and I only speak to the MS nurse and my neurologist on the phone, really. A couple of times I've had to go into the hospital for emergencies because of the level of pain, or at one point it was because my bladder I had bladder retention
Mhm.
for like over 24 hours, so I had to go in. And I have found that your more sort of your regular sort of staff, like your nursing and doctors, people who aren't aware of these neurological conditions, can come across like they don't understand, they're not listening. And while you're in that moment of anxiety, it can feel like they don't care. Um, or yeah, it's not been it hasn't been fun.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
and and and
It's been scary. Yeah.
and that's another thing that I tell people that are young in this disease, they're just starting this out. You got to advocate for yourself, and you got to find a doctor and a team that you're happy with. And if you're not, and I know it sucks leaving a doctor because you got to wait to get in to see a different one. But if you're not happy with that doctor and what they're telling you, then you need to find somebody that you are happy with because they're working for you.
Yeah. Yeah, I just kind of update them of what symptoms I've got going on and how the medications are working for me. Because obviously they just wanted to get the DMTs in to obviously stop my illness getting worse
Right.
and managing the pain levels. Because obviously there's the medications with the pain as well, which has been also a separate journey.
Yeah.
Um,
What kind of
I've, um,
what kind of I know I have neuropathy in my legs. What kind of pain do you have because of your MS, and how are they treating your pain?
And I have a lot of like shooting pains, tingling pains, numbness. Sometimes it can feel cold or hot. But this kind of it moves around my body throughout the day. These sensations, like in the morning, it could be in my hand, and then later on, it'd be in my right leg, and then tomorrow it could be just in my both my calves.
Mm,
It kind of just moves around really,
mm,
so different sensations. But I've looked into different pain methods and talked to people about like pain clinics, and this is kind of what led me really to the Reiki, is because I can move my mind away from where I'm feeling the pain or sensation
mhm.
and focus on a different part of my body that's working well that day.
Yeah. I
But I
love
mean, it
I
took
love
a lot of time being able to do that.
I and we talked about this before we recorded. I love that you use Reiki. I'm very, very big into meditation, and
Mm.
I use that for pain management, and I just thought it was so interesting. Just the what you use, and you were talking about the Reiki, and even the acupuncture. Talk a little bit about the acupuncture that you've tried too.
Oh, that, yeah, I did try that for a couple of years, and then I haven't actually needed to go back for it recently, because it helped me have the feeling back in my right side, so I could feel my fingers more and walk a little better. And yeah, it's like where they put the needles. It kind of rewires the nervous system, like wakes it up really, so that the electric in your body is like, oh, we need to go down there as well.
Yeah.
Uh, and yeah, it was a massive help, honestly. And the Reiki just helps. Well, similar really, but it just does it more with like your frequencies. If you're singing bowls, or um, if you're the practitioner, you can use energy from outside yourself and push it through
Mm,
your body into the other person.
yeah.
Um, it's really, really interesting. I do really like it. That's why I've used these things, and now that I've found a balance with myself and my own pain and how I run myself, I now want to learn how to help other people with them same things.
Yeah. I think it's fascinating the different tools that people have found on their own, just through trial and error, really. And I tell people all the time, you got to customize your journey with how you're going to manage it. I mean, I have tools that I use, and I can tell you what my tools are, and they might work for you and they might not. But, just listening to other people and how they manage this disease is so fascinating to me, and how you're doing it, Jen. I just love that.
Yeah, it's really good why like the with this podcast that you're doing and the TikTok communities and stuff, and it's why it's good, because people can throw out ideas, and then if there's something that you haven't actually tried and you're like, oh well, I'll give that a go. I mean, you still have to go through the trials and errors of all these different things, which can be exhausting in itself, but at least we can all share our journeys and options and give other people ideas. And what can work for them, because I'd rather do it as sort of natural as possible for me, because I haven't enjoyed some reactions to other medications for pain and things like that.
Right, right. So I know you said that you have kids, Jen, and they were already born when you got your diagnosis, and they're kind of learning about the disease. They have been for the last 10 years. Can you kind of like just talk about your kids and how they are your supports and how they're learning about their mom and the disease that she has that's chronic and it's going to be there for the rest of your life.
Yeah, it's well, the older two children, obviously they knew me before I did get poorly, so they saw that change of the mum that was this mum, and then, oh my God, where's she gone?
Yeah,
Um, and yeah, so they would have had to go through a grieving process there, and I've tried to explain what it is, but then they've watched me go through the mental health suffering, and when I ended up living on my own again with the children, the older two kind of helped with the younger ones, it's helping play with them,
yeah,
help make food, or help they were doing their own washing at quite a young age, the older two.
yeah,
um they were adapting and being far more independent and responsible than they ever should have had to be.
yeah. Right,
The younger two, they were only 1 and 2 years old when I got diagnosed, so they've never known the mum that wasn't disabled.
right.
Um, so they've all helped look after me,
Yeah.
at different times, different ways. They've helped look after each other.
It's a learning process, Jen. And I got two kids. They're 27 and 23 right now. And they never knew me without MS. And I was pretty good in the beginning for 15 years. You really couldn't tell I had MS. So I was like pretty much a regular dad. I was, playing with them on the ground, playing with them. And, I couldn't run, but I did everything that a dad did. And then when my MS started getting worse, they had to start processing that, wait a minute, dad's not able to do the things that he was able to do before. And now I think that even my son at 27, I think he understands it different than my daughter at 24. I don't know why. I just think that kids they have their own way of processing it, and they do it their way, and you just got to be there for them, and hopefully they'll be there for you.
Yeah, and all of them love me to pieces. They all argue over who's my favorite.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, they do. But you know, parenting comes with its own separate problems without disabilities, doesn't it? Like,
Yeah, right.
it's still a journey on its own.
Yeah. And I mean, and then you got your guilt too. I know I've gone through dad guilt, and I know moms go through mom guilt, because you want to be
Massive,
there for your kids. You want to do these things, and you can't because your body's telling you that it can't do it. And
yeah,
that's just a part of the mental part that I know that we all go through, and it's not our fault. And I know people blame themselves, like, hey, I can't do this
oh,
for my
definitely.
kids, and I just want people to know we didn't ask for this disease. We're just doing the best that we can.
Yeah, because I mean, maybe I should arrange, like, asking the children a few questions in depth and kind of getting a clear view of how the journey's made them feel.
I actually
Might be.
I actually recorded an episode with my daughter. She was about 20 years old at the time. This is back when I first started doing these podcasts, and she had a lot of fun with it, and she gave a lot of her opinion on a lot of things growing up with a dad with MS. I asked my son to do an episode, and my son said, "Oh no, Dad, I can't do that." So I mean, it's just, kids are different, and my kids love me to death, and they'll do anything for me. But we just we just gotta take them for what they give us, and just just help them understand it. Just help them understand it. I had to go through the process of, when my MS started getting worse and I started having to use a cane and then a wheelchair, just start rely on them to help me more. And that's hard. That's a hard thing when you're the dad and you're used to being the one that's always helping your kids. And now you got to ask your kids to help you. That's hard.
It's not nice. It isn't nice at all. Yeah, yeah, I'll have to do that, like ask them. But see, for a lot of times, especially in the first years, like I was more trying to disguise it and trying to push through.
Yeah.
But I think I've had to recently give up my car, so that's been a big thing because obviously I'm not available for the lifts that they need everywhere.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I might be able to get my license again. I've got a big questionnaire to fill out to be able to do it. I just haven't done that yet.
Well, I know I've recorded with a couple people over in the UK, and you guys have a program over there where they actually would put you in a car with hand controls and all that, right?
Yeah, yeah. There is adaptations that I can have to a vehicle and stuff. It's just a process, and now I have to because we get our driving license for 3 years, and then we have to kind of get it reassessed.
Okay.
So my current driving license is expired now, so I can't have a driving license until I've
You got to redo.
filled out this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got to redo the forms and stuff. I've got a really big questionnaire, and then I just kind of put it in my pile of stuff to do and never went back to it.
Well, you got to get on that, Jen. You got to get on that.
I do.
So let me ask you
I can
this.
only deal with so much at a time. So.
I know it. I know it. I know. We got MS, right? So Jen, let me ask you this. I know I've been talking to you for a couple of weeks. I love your attitude and just you've been doing this for 10 years. How do you keep yourself motivated? How do you keep yourself like the mental part of it? Because I know you have such a positive attitude with how you're fighting this disease, how it's affected your mobility. I mean, and you just keep on fighting on. I mean, what do you use as your tools to keep you motivated?
Well, the main thing has always been being the best mum that I can with all the problems. It's always my children that gave me the kind of initial driving force, to give me reason to fight and to do it. And just pure refusal, really. I'm not very good at being told what to do, and I think MS is trying to tell me what to do, and I don't like that.
Yeah. I don't like it either. I know back when I was 27, Jen, and that doctor told me I had MS and I started figuring out what the hell it was. I basically said, fuck you, MS. If you're gonna take
Yeah.
if you're gonna take me down, I'm gonna go down with a badass fight. And
Yeah.
and I've been doing it for 28 years. I mean, I'm not as mobile as I was 27 years old, but I can still do a hell of a lot and I'm never gonna stop. I mean, I can't quit, because that's not in me. I'm not wired that way, and I know most people aren't. You could just got to find something to motivate you and keep you going. And I know that community on TikTok where we met is a great starting point for people that are just newly diagnosed. Because I know you're scared, and there's just so many awesome people on there that'll really like basically take you by the hand and walk you through of a lot of the things that you're going to be going through, the mental part of it and the physical part.
Well, this is it. I mean, I've had family and friends, chip in and help here and there. Like, I'm not going to deny that. I really have. But for the TikTok helped me find people that understood what I was going through. My family were there for me and the children were there, but no one really understood.
Yeah.
And then I kind of got the feeling that if I was sat there all day explaining what sensation I've got going on in that moment, what things hurting on my body in that moment, how my nerves are feeling in that moment, I'd literally be talking all day.
Yeah, absolutely.
They'd get fed up of listening to it.
Yeah.
So, um, So that's kind of what finding other people with MS has helped with.
Yeah.
And this, there's other places as well, like the MS Society, and I know that there's meetups and things like that. But I mean, the whole getting out thing has become more of a recent problem for me.
Yeah. But you keep
Because
on, but you keep on fighting though, Jen. And I know we were talking before. I mean, you have been out of the employment scene for 8 years now, and you were just telling me that you want to get back into working. And
I
because
don't,
that's the way you're wired. You are not a quitter, and we can't quit. We have to keep on going. You got to find something to motivate you and to keep on pushing on because you want to see that sun come up in the morning.
yeah, exactly. And I like to feel useful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I like to help people, and I like to feel useful. Um,
Jen.
and I know how much I enjoyed working while I was working, and like now that I've managed to find a good balance with my pain medications, I've got a bit more of my brain function back, and I use a lot of holistic stuff to help with the brain fog and brain function.
Hmm.
So, and now that I've accepted the electric wheelchair, I'm like, right, okay, I haven't got the body as well anymore, but I can still sit in my chair and work
Yeah.
with my brain.
Yeah.
That's still there. It's still functioning. So,
Yeah.
apart from some days it doesn't, but we all get that.
Right. Right. Man, I love talking to you, Jen. Is there anything that you want to tell anybody before I start wrapping it up that is in a similar situation as you? They're just trying to figure this out and fight this fight. And what would your advice be to them to keep on going and keep on battling this disease?
Is to keep seeking out other alternatives. Like if you've tried something for the pain, or tried something for the anxiety, or for your movement, and it doesn't work, just don't give up. Ask somebody else that could maybe give you a different option, and something will work, or at least help with your life. Just keep trying different things, because there's so many different things that help different people. It's just keeping the faith that there will be something that can help you get through it and feel like build like for me and you, like the life was like sort of like gone. Oh, what do you mean? So if someone's feeling like that, like their whole life is just gone, I kind of just want to be proof that you can go through that, have terrible mental health episodes after it, but there is still light.
Hmm.
There is another option. There's other aids that can help you get to that place, or other medications that you can try. Because I think by talking to other people, it's going to take a few years to find your balance of the medications that work for you,
Yeah.
isn't there?
Yeah.
So it's just keep the faith and keep believing that there will be something that'll
Yeah.
that'll help you live a better life.
Yeah, I agree with you, Jen. I mean, it's not a one and done. You can't figure it out in a day. I mean, it's taken me, I mean, it's 28 years for me, and I'm still figuring stuff out. There's still things that my body does that's new, and I'm like, okay, well, that's new. I got to figure this out. I mean, it's a never ending journey, and I just love everything that you just said. If you ever want to come back on and update how you're doing with your MS, you always have an invitation. I really want to thank you for joining me today, Jen. I really appreciate you.
Thank you too. It's been nice to get it all out and get our word across, and nice hearing your story too, along with many others that we each know on TikTok. It's yeah, I just want us all to continue to be there to help people that are freshly in the diagnosis. I kind of want us all to be proof for someone else that the life does continue. Uh,
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right, I'm going to get going. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and give me a thumbs up if you like what you heard and share it out. We want to be understood. The best way to be understood is to listen to us talk. Until the next episode, this is the MS Michigan Man 64. I am out.